Hey, baddie, do you know that you create incredible results for your clients? Like whenever you work with them, you're like, I know that I'm literally changing their life. But when it comes to actually seeing like what is that impact, what are the results, what are like the metrics of the work that you're creating, do you feel like you don't quite have a full view into that? Hey, Danielle. Do you feel like you don't have a full view into the exact client results that you are creating for your clients, specifically the type of information that you can put into your social proof content, right? So this Instagram Live is an impromptu, juicy, freaking value-packed Instagram Live. I'm literally just like giving you all the information. And this is perfect for you if you know that you are doing amazing work with your clients, but when it comes to writing your social media, social proof, client results content, you're kind of just like, ooh, I don't really have any metrics. I know my client sort of got that result, but I don't know if it was like fully from like the work we did. There were these other pieces. Or, I sent them a feedback form, but they actually didn't get back to me. And so now I actually don't really know about the full impact that was created during our work together. This live is literally going to change your freaking life. So drop a yes in the chat if this is the type of thing that you are currently working through. And I'm so freaking excited to talk about this topic. Okay. So early on in my business, I had a really big problem where I knew I was creating massive results for my clients. So Danielle's saying, yes, amazing. So I knew I was creating giant results for my clients. But when it came to actually like collecting those results that I could then use in my content, I felt like I was very almost like blind. Like I had handed over the work and they were telling me, oh my gosh, like I'm so happy with everything, but I didn't actually have the tangible information that I could package into those like really impressive posts. That's like, my client increased their something by this percent or this number, or like screenshots of like results. And so what would happen to me, I don't know if this is relatable to you, is I would feel like I would be forced to share kind of like the lukewarm results, right? So the things that I had access to. So let's say it was like, I don't know, I was doing done for you LinkedIn profiles. Maybe it was like the engagement on their posts, but I wasn't really seeing, for example, their internal metrics of their profile. Like how many more profile views are you getting? How many more connection requests are you getting? How many inquiries are you getting for your services? How much website traffic? All of this stuff I had no information on. And it really held me back from being able to post really strong social proof content that we know we need in order to bring in our dream clients, right? So what I'm going to do in this Instagram Live is I literally have my notes right in front of me. I'm going to give it you literally what you need to do to start collecting this information in a very rich format from your dream clients that isn't just sending a feedback survey at the end of your work together, right? So I was talking actually one of the baddies inside my monthly content membership, which by the way, we have something exciting happening in April. I'm going to talk about it at the end. But she was telling me that she knows she creates massive results, but then when it comes to collecting those results, she's like, I send a feedback survey, but they never replied to me. So I just never sent it again, right? And I've totally been there, where you do all your work with the client and then at the end it's probably some kind of an email where you're just like, hey, I loved our work together, could you please send me like a testimonial? Like that would be absolutely incredible. And then you kind of just don't really hear back from them, right? So if any of this is like ringing true for you, you are literally in the right freaking place, and I am so excited to share all the juice with you. Okay, so let's just literally freaking dive in. So the first thing that I want you to do is, the thing is, when we send just a feedback form at the end of working together, people aren't as likely to fill it out. Although dream clients will be happy to fill it out for you. So, but usually what I like to do is I like to, right at the beginning of the engagement with the client, I like to send them an onboarding form, right? So this is literally at the beginning of working together. I send them as part of the onboarding email. It's like, hey, here are your next steps, book your calls, whatever it is, fill out this onboarding form. And so in that onboarding form, I ask them very strategic questions about like, what are you looking to get supported inside of this container? What does success look like? What have you tried before that hasn't worked? What drew you to working with me? Just kind of all this rich information that is like literally absolute gold for your marketing. But the subtle thing here that I want you to understand is when you send someone an onboarding form when they first start working with you, you are priming them and setting the tone that you are someone who is very serious about delivering a good result, and you actually really want to deeply understand where they're at. And what you're doing is they have now performed an action that is giving you information, right? And so something that I changed early on in my business was I started doing onboarding forms, because then what I could do is I would do an offboarding form, right? And they go hand in hand. If someone does an onboarding form, it makes sense when you're like, hey, now it's time for the offboarding form, right? And because they've already filled out an onboarding form with you, they're going to be a lot more likely to fill out an offboarding form, because it kind of just like their bookends, right? And you have, again, trained them to perform that action with you, right? So that's the first thing. I want you to really create an experience where you are someone who is asking for their feedback. So at the end, you're not just randomly saying, hey, fill out this form or fill out this testimonial request. You are basically asking them, you're putting them into the habit of like, I'm someone who's going to ask you for feedback, right? The second thing is when you are sending your offboarding form, the reason I call it an offboarding form, I feel like a lot of people in the end are asking for testimonial requests, right? So maybe like drop a yes in the chat if when you finish working with your clients, you send them some sort of like a testimonial request, right? So the thing with this is we love testimonials. Obviously, we want to have testimonials, but what I want you to think about is having the testimonial question in the offboarding form. Because the thing is, when you ask people for a testimonial, a lot of people don't really understand what makes a good testimonial. And so they think it's about like bigging you up, talking about how awesome you are, which like we literally love. Obviously, we love client love, but we really need our clients to tell us what is the result of working with us, right? Where were you before and where are you now? And this is where the onboarding form and the offboarding form work together, right? Because you can ask the same questions. For example, when I ran my first ever group program, the LinkedIn Baddie program, I asked in the onboarding form, how do you currently feel about LinkedIn, right? And a lot of the responses were negative because they were like scared of LinkedIn. And then in the end, I said, now after the program, how do you feel about LinkedIn? And they would say like, oh my gosh, like, it's this like whole new world. I feel so much more comfortable. And so you can see now how I can pair those two responses, and that is a client result. I could literally take the screenshots of what they told me, and I'm like, my program helps you go from this to this, right? The other piece too is in your offboarding form, one of the things I want you to literally include is what are the tangible results that you got from working with me? And what are the intangible results that you got from working with me, right? Because again, when you ask for a testimonial request, people are not really going to talk about that unless they know how to write a really good testimonial, which not always all of our clients know how to do, right? Because they just kind of say like, Lena was incredible, highly recommend, but that's not really going to get us sales because people want to know like what was good about it? What was the result? Where were you before? What was your struggle? So they can see themselves in that story, right? So in your offboarding form, now that we have developed the habit of getting them to, hey, fill out a form, we're going to very clearly ask them, what are the tangible results that you got, right? And so again, with all of these forms, sometimes someone will sign up and they won't fill it out, right? I will literally follow up, right? Like I want you to also get into the habit of really making yourself accountable to being the person to gather these results, right? I feel like sometimes we send, a form or a feedback form or a testimonial request, we don't hear back and now we feel shy to follow up. I don't want you to be shy about that. I want you to really follow up and just gently kind of explain, be like, hey, I've really loved our work together. Feedback is really important to me. It is like literally so important to me that I drove results for your business. And so, I would love for you to just take these 10 minutes and fill it out. Like, if you don't mind, really follow up, like take the accountability to be the person who makes that happen for you. Danielle's saying good. Okay, I love it. Yay, Baddie T's here too. Tiana's here. I love this. We've got a good group going. Okay, so the second thing that I want you to do, so we talked about onboarding forms and offboarding forms, and having your offboarding forms actually legitimately ask them, what are the tangible results that you got? What were you struggling before? Just really getting them to like fill out the information in a structured way. We cannot give them free form fields because they're not going to give us the right information. We have to really direct them, right? And so a little hack that I do, by the way, this is like absolute freaking juice. At the end of the offboarding form, I ask them, are you comfortable with me using everything that you said in this offboarding form as a testimonial? And honestly, 9 times out of 10, people will say yes. And then you get to literally build out the testimonial with the pieces that they talked about, right? So if you have a question of like, where were you before, like what were you struggling with before? And a question, what were the tangible results? You get to now create a testimonial that walks people through that journey, right? Okay, so you're saying, what about if your service is ongoing? I struggle with timing since our service doesn't end. Okay, I am like literally so freaking happy that you asked this question. By the way, I'm flying to Europe tonight, so that's why like I sound like I'm completely crazy because I'm so excited. But okay, I love this question because you literally took the words out of my mouth. The next point that I was gonna make, if you have an ongoing service, this is literally absolute gold. I want you to get into a regular cadence of sending a very simple feedback form, almost like monthly, to your clients. I was literally talking about this with a baddie inside my membership in our masterclass that we did yesterday on crafting offers. We had a little extra bonus masterclass in the membership. And so what I wanted her to do, because she does SEO content creation and blog optimization and that kind of stuff. And so I told her, I want you to send your clients a feedback form, a very simple one, every single month. Right? And so Danielle's saying sometimes it can take a few months for results to hit. I'm actually going to address this in multiple ways in this live. But again, this is where I want you to still send the monthly feedback form, because now you can start to really map out the journey, right? I find that sometimes people wait a really long time to gather results, but the thing is you want to gather results in the interim. And the reason for this is, think about it, like the classic example is doing a performance review at your job, right? It's like we all write performance reviews at the end, like right before when it's ready to go. And then we're just like, wait, like what did we do in the past year, right? It's the same with your clients. If you have a 6-month contract and then at the end you're like, hey, what happened? They're not going to remember. So do yourself a favor and send them a monthly feedback form, and you can tell them that this is part of the process, and your clients are going to love this. I do this in my private coaching as well, by the way. This is works for if you're a coach, done for you service provider, doesn't matter. And so basically and I want you to, when you're onboarding the client, this becomes part of the process. Like, hey, when you work with me, I'm going to send you a really quick 3 to 4 question form at the end of every month, and you're going to tell me how things are going, right? I'm going to ask you what, how's your experience overall? I'm going to ask you, what are you loving right now? What are the results that you've gotten so far? What do you want improved, right? So you can wrap it up in this kind of like container of, I want to make sure that you're happy, right? One of the questions that I ask in my private coaching once a month form is, how do you feel like you're moving along according to your goals? Do you feel like you're going to hit the goal that you set when you first joined this container, right? And that also, like, I love that question because it gives me confidence. When they answer saying like, I'm on track, then hey, thanks for joining. When they tell me like I'm on track, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yay, like I feel so good. So the thing that I want you to also understand about this whole gathering client results, it goes way beyond just posting social proof content, you guys. Like, that's where we started this live. I was like, I want to help you basically post bomb social proof content that truly shows how how you're getting your clients' results. But the other piece is your confidence. When I get these feedback forms monthly with my private coaching clients, like I feel like a freaking boss. I'm like, dang, like, okay, they're going along on their goals. They're freaking excited. They're getting massive results and stuff like that, right? It makes me feel more confident. So Tiana's asking, what questions do you find get answered with the most honesty? Honestly, like, I mean, this is also where I mean, it goes beyond just putting a question on a form. This is really like client experience, client relationship, and really starting the relationship off in like a very honest way. And it even comes from, for example, like I know my brand is like, I'm all about transparency and I talk about that in my content. So when people join my containers, they know that honesty is very much like a big pillar inside my containers. But in terms of the actual questions on the form, like what gets the most answers, honestly, I mean, I don't feel like I necessarily have seen like issues with honesty. Again, like now that I really think about it, I think it's a little more, it's more about like the relationship you have with the client, but I think also like the way you structure the question. So for example, a lot of the time I'll add like little kind of like extra text next to questions that goes like, like sometimes I'll even put something like, I have thick Eastern European skin. Like the more honest you are, the better. Or like, feel free to be brutally honest with me or something like that, right? Like you can always add little things. But in terms of the questions that get a lot of honest responses, I mean, I think it's like anything that talks about like tangible results, their overall experience, how they're tracking against their goals, what do they feel like is missing, like what do they feel like would make them more successful, right? So I think the key is to phrase the questions in a way, because the thing is people don't want to hurt your feelings. So I think it's phrasing the questions in a way that suggests like improvement. So instead of, being like, what are you unhappy with? It's like people are going to be like, like I don't want to tell you what I'm unhappy with. Maybe it's kind of like, what would you love to see more of to help you be more successful, right? So kind of like phrasing the question in a way to show them it's safe for you to be honest. And we're just talking about making improvements right now, right? So that's kind of like what I would say with questions that get answered most honestly. What is a good number of questions to ask to not overwhelm but get enough info? Yeah. So this kind of depends on honestly the container. So with my private coaching, obviously it's like highest proximity to me, highest price point. So like the onboarding form is pretty detailed. Like I think I ask about like 8 questions or something. When it comes to, I would honestly say the less the better always, as we know with questions. I would also mix the questions between multiple choice and free form. So for example, like how's your overall experience? How are you tracking against your goals? Those kind of questions. Like I would try to make some things multiple choice so it's like easier to answer. And then for the free form ones, like I would limit those, but I would maybe do like if you're doing a monthly recurring form, I would do like 3 or 4 questions. You want to make it really easy. If you're doing an onboarding, offboarding form, like I would say like 6 to 8 questions. Again, it really depends like how much the client is investing in you. If they're investing like a high dollar amount, then generally they're going to be more open to giving you a lot of feedback, but just kind of like experiment with it, see what works. Maybe you make some of the questions optional. I personally make all of mine mandatory, but you could play around with having them optional so people can kind of like get through the form without having to say anything. So just kind of play around with it. But I would say like 6 to 8 really is kind of like the amount. Okay, so let's move on to some of the other methods that you can collect information. So I'm literally not even freaking done here. So the thing that I really like to do is sometimes clients might share results on social media, right? So I actually had this the other day, literally. One of my clients, she was like, oh my gosh, like 4 people signed up for my mini offer. She's inside Next Level Baddie. She's absolutely killing it. If you want to like literally spruce up your offers, like that is literally the program to be in. So send me a DM if you're interested in the details. But she posted saying 4 people are inside my mini offer. And the last time I talked to her, she had 1 person inside. And so I DM'd her and I was like, oh my gosh, like, is that like 4 people? Like that's like 3 new people in the last like 24 hours. She's like, yeah, oh my God, like I'm blown away. And so I dug deeper and I was like, oh, like, where are these people coming from? Like, how did they reach out? Like, are they, so I want you to get into the habit of when you see your clients. And again, this really like, the funny thing is with collecting client results, this really is massively enabled by your relationship with the client, and your relationship with the client is dictated by whether they're a dream client, right? And so this is why I only work with dream clients, because they are someone who are going to be, that we're in conversation constantly because we are just like of the same vibe, right? So I'm constantly in the DMs with my dream clients. I'm watching their Instagram stories. I'm on their email list. Like I'm literally up in their business. And so I can really easily double tap and just be like, oh my gosh, like you got a new client. Like where did they come in from? And she'll be like, I actually literally had coffee with them. Like that's so random, right? So the more that you can have general conversations, the more you'll be able to actually, dig deeper, and don't be shy, right? Don't be shy. There's so much of the time where one of my clients will tell me like, oh my gosh, my reel's popping off. And I'll literally be like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Do you mind throwing me over a screenshot? Like I'd love to showcase you on my stories, right? Super easy way to collect a client result. I feel like so much of the time we're a little bit shy to dig deeper and we feel bad. We're like, oh, like, are we bothering them? But honestly, the truth is like your dream clients, they want to be the star. They understand, like they want the best for your business, right? So they're going to be open to being like, yes, take the screenshot. Here's the screenshot of the inquiry. Like they're going to help you out. This is why I'm such a big proponent of dream clients. But like, take those opportunities, or let's say, for example, you're on a client call and they tell you about a win. Be like, oh my gosh, that's absolutely amazing. Could you actually send me a screenshot of that? Like, I'd love to add that to like, I don't know, my website, whatever. Like, it would be so awesome to feature you, right? So find those opportunities and dig deeper and ask the questions, right? Even if it's a client who you worked with a long time ago. Like I had a client who like last week, she was like saying that she's reaching so many new accounts on Instagram after my IG Baddie program. And because I watch her stories, because she's a previous client, I was like, hey, oh my gosh, I was like, this is so incredible. I'm so impressed with you. Do you mind if I screenshot your Instagram story? Like, is that okay? Because she had her metrics and she was like, oh, like, let me tag you actually. So she tagged me. She actually reposted and tagged me. And then I shared on my Instagram stories, right? So amazing. You're saying thanks for this. So helpful. I'm like so happy to share this with you. This is like absolute gold. And so really get into the habit of digging deeper, right? So on the topic of digging deeper, another tactic that I want you to use is when you start a client call, or I'm going to give you a little tip here too. This is good for sales calls before you're about to upsell someone. Okay. I'm literally just giving you all the juice because I want you to be successful. So when you get on your client calls, whether it's a group call, whether it's a one-on-one call, I want you to start with asking them about their wins. I do this in all of my group calls, my membership calls, my next level baddie calls. We just had a group call on Tuesday. We did a round of wins in the beginning. I want you to get into the habit of starting your calls off by saying, hey, what's a current win that you're celebrating from like our work together, being in this container? Like what's something awesome that's happened? Like what are you feeling good about? Get them to bring it up to you, right? Because a lot of the time there are so many wins that are happening, but our clients just, either forget or they just like don't know that it's a really big win, right? Like for example, one of my clients, she messaged me on Instagram and she was like, oh my gosh, like a dream client followed me and like told me she loved my content after she saw my carousel pinned to my grid that talks about who my dream client is. And she was like, I'm your dream client. And the thing is, sometimes clients might think that like a certain result is not like a big enough result, but even small things we love to showcase, right? So I want you to really double click and create the opportunity for them to share your win, right? Because sometimes our clients are hiding some really freaking awesome wins from us unintentionally, and you want to bring it to the surface. And from there, you can double click and be like, oh my gosh, like you had someone discover you from like one carousel post. That's incredible. Like, I'm going to showcase that, right? Maybe there's like more details that you asked for, like, what kind of inquiry did they do this, whatever, like you can get the information. And now you literally have social proof content to post on the go, right? So drop a yes in the chat if this is landing for you and this is giving you tons of ideas for how you can start extracting the incredible gold that you are creating for your clients inside of your offers in order to talk about those results to bring in even more dream clients just like that into your offers. Okay, so Danielle's saying, yes, I love this, incredible. So drop a yes in the chat if you're loving this and this is giving you ideas on how you can like basically explode your sales by talking about how freaking awesome you are, because I know you're good at what you do and I know you're creating massive results, and I know you might feel like you don't see those results, and when it goes to posting content you're just like, oh, like I know I'm changing the world but I don't have those metrics, right? And I totally know that feeling. Yes, I need to work on my content. Yes, this is going to totally give you so many good ideas. Okay, cool. So let's keep going. We're not even done yet. So if you have any kind of group program, or if you have anything where you are sharing, like you have a, like you're in Slack with clients or something, like I want you to create a wins channel. Create a wins channel and get people to celebrate in the wins channel, right? So something that I do in Next Level Baddie, for example, in the wins channel, I get the women to celebrate like everything. It's like, I don't even care if it's like, you posted a reel and you hadn't posted a reel in 2 weeks. It's like, celebrate in the wins channel. Tell me that you posted a freaking reel. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, everything is a celebration. And it's not just because I want to post it on my stories. It's because when we celebrate ourselves, we tell our subconscious brain that things are happening and it builds our confidence, right? That is the reason why. And the side product is I get to showcase the amazing things that these women are doing, right? So wins channel. The other thing that I want you to do, this is for you, if you have a service where, let's say it's maybe like a month or something, you deliver the service, but then you find that your clients get a result after they're done with your container, right? So drop a yes in the chat if that's you, because that was me with my Done For You LinkedIn profile. It was a month, my Done For You LinkedIn profile service. I would do their profile for a month and then I wouldn't be working with them anymore, right? Because I didn't have the next container for them. So this is literally the goal for you. Okay, Tiana's saying yes. I want you to bake into your offer a 30-day follow-up. I don't care if it's a 15-minute meeting, a 30-minute meeting, whether it's literally a quick form that they fill out to tell you what's going on and you give them an audit of something. I don't know. I don't care what it is, but create some sort of a time frame, a 30-day follow-up. Maybe it's a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day follow-up. So again, if it's kind of like a lower ticket price point, you're not really going to want to do like 30, 60, 90 days. It's kind of a little bit intense. But for my Done For You LinkedIn profile service, it was $1,800 done for you for the month. And then I baked into the process, literally when I was selling the program, I'm like, there's also a 30-day follow-up included. And during that 30-day follow-up, I want you to position it as, we're going to measure your progress and I'm going to give you some custom recommendations on what you can do to kind of just like keep those results up, right? So what this does is it gives you an opportunity to gather the results 30 days after. It gives you an opportunity to plug your expertise again, remind them how awesome you are, and it gives you the opportunity to upsell them into the next thing based on what they need, right? And I want you to literally bake this into your offer. So 30-day follow-up, whether it's a meeting, that's going to allow you to collect more data. So Jen's here in the live. I'm so excited. She just jumped into the membership. She's absolutely incredible. Loving the membership right now. Like, if you're not in there, it's honestly the place to be. Something exciting is happening in April. I'm going to talk about it in a second. But if you're not in the membership, highly recommend jumping inside. It's literally where baddies go to just create massive, amazing content, magnetize their dream clients, and just like be in baddie energy. Okay, so Danielle's saying mine is a lifetime support, but the bulk of work is up front and then ongoing. Great. And I check in quarterly. So yeah, the cadence will depend on you, because I know you're dealing with kind of like financial stuff. So maybe there's like a little bit of time required for them to really get those wins. So quarterly is great. If there's any way that you can do something minimal, like almost like a pulse check on a monthly basis, like I'm a massive fan of feedback. I'm always gathering feedback. And so I would maybe think about like, is there something you can, maybe there's not a need for your service, maybe quarterly is fine. But maybe there's a little tiny checkpoint. Maybe it's even just like a 2-question form. One is a multiple choice. The other one is a free form, just once a month, a chance for them to kind of like check in with you. Sometimes I find it's easier for people to tell you something in a questionnaire, even if their name is attached to it. It's like easier than on the phone if they're like a little bit shy. So, okay, so 30-day follow-up. So basically building a follow-up into your offer so that you have a chance to collect feedback and then also obviously potentially upsell them if they need more support. Okay, so that's kind of the other one. So a few other things as well here that I have noted is three more things I want to share with you. And then I have a client call in 12 minutes. So I can't possibly miss that. Okay, so we have 12 minutes left. Okay, so three things left. So the next thing is I want you to, if you have like a really great client, you've gotten them absolutely incredible results, I want you to either go live with them on Instagram. I'm doing this with one of my clients in April. She's absolutely incredible. We're going to do a live together and I'm just going to interview her on like all the incredible things she's been doing in her business, like how she's been putting in like baddie energy and like launching her offers, like what's next for her, like all this stuff, talking about all the incredible results that she's creating in her business, right? And obviously it's going to be an Instagram live. People get to attend, people get to see the amazing work I do with my clients. I get to showcase my client. Like she loves to be, like she wants to be famous. So she always loves to be featured. So it's like a win-win situation. And then what I'm going to do is this is a really easy way for you to collect a lot of information from a client without asking them to fill out like a really long freaking form or asking them to like jump on like kind of like a call with you where you kind of like interrogate them for answers. So I love Instagram lives just because like they're very fluid and obviously they're recorded. And then I use the information, what I'm going to do actually with this specific client, because she's like literally a dream client, I'm going to take what we talked about in the Instagram live and I'm going to type up a full-on case study with her, right? I'm going to get screenshots of all this kind of stuff. She's like absolutely incredible. She's going to give this stuff to me and I'm going to write up this incredible case study of her, right? It's going to be somewhere on my website. Then I'm going to probably chop up the pieces of our live and post it on social media. Maybe I will also have our Instagram live on my website as part of the case study, right? And then I'm going to create literally like 10 plus pieces of content about all the individual things that happened inside of her whole experience of working with me since last year in September, right? So this is going to be a really easy way for you to gather information from your clients because they're just going to talk, right? The alternative also that I've done is I have done video interviews with people. So I literally have like a specific Calendly invite link that's like 45 minutes. It plugs into my Riverside FM link. And basically they schedule a 45-minute call with me and we just have a conversation. So it's kind of like doing an Instagram live, but it's like private. And then we will just like answer a bunch of questions. We'll talk, they'll talk freely on kind of, and I'm really prompting them here, right? So it's not just going to be a whole like, Lena's a great person, hire her. It's going to be more like, you know, before I hired Lena, this is what I was doing. This is how it wasn't creating results for me. I really wanted this, but like this was missing. And then as I worked with her, like really walking them through the whole experience so that you can get the juice, right? And then I usually take that video interview and I just like edit it and then I turn it into like a video testimonial, right? But the whole goal here is you are getting that information and you are then creating an asset that literally is your social proof content, right? So I want you to get really creative. How can you make it really easy for your clients to give you this information? And so a lot of the time, even with these video interviews, you can make it 15 minutes. You can literally be like, hey, you just book a session with me, you show up for 15 minutes, that's it, right? For a lot of people, that might even be easier than filling out like a feedback form, right? Imagine you just show up, I ask you a bunch of questions, done, right? Okay, so drop a yes in the chat if this is resonating with you in terms of going live with your client, recording some kind of a video, basically creating an environment where they can just speak, where you can like ask them questions and ask them follow-up questions as they talk about their experience of working with you, right? So drop a yes in the chat if you're just like, okay, this is helpful. I might actually go live with one of my clients or I might record a little video testimonial with them and then post it somewhere. So let me know if that's landing. I'm gonna give you the last thing. And it's a bit of a kind of a more of like an admin-y thing, but something that I have started doing is I have started baking this whole concept into, so, okay, love it. I love that. We'll do this. Amazing. Okay. Make sure you guys implement. This is going to be absolutely incredible for your business. So the last thing is I have been baking the process of, collecting this feedback, collecting these testimonials, using these screenshots of clients when they send it to me into actually my contract, right? So there's actually a clause in my contract that says, you know, you basically give me permission to use some of the things that you were talking about in Slack, or maybe like things from our calls, to use the screenshots in my marketing to talk about these results in order to market my business. So people are actually signing on in the contract to agreeing to use that information. The other thing that I've seen other people do is they've actually put it in their contract that it's like, hey, you're gonna actually fill out like a testimonial for me, or maybe you're gonna like do a video interview with me, right? You can also bake it into the contract. So again, this is a personal preference. Like maybe some people like don't feel comfortable putting that in a contract, but that's also another way to guarantee to get it done, right? And you can even just when they're signing the contract, you can draw their attention to it and be like, hey, just want to make a small note. In the contract, I do ask you to, like do a quick little 10-minute testimonial interview with me. It just like really helps me understand the amazing results that I've created for you and like market my business. I really, really appreciate it. And then they're kind of like signing off on it. So it's like a subtle way of saying kind of like, this is going to happen. I'm going to ask you for the testimonial, and it makes them obviously more likely to kind of like do that for you. So that's kind of like a last little tip. But overall, honestly, I think the big thing is just creating these opportunities for you to actually gather the feedback, right? I have so many clients, they're doing such incredible work with their clients, but they are not creating these opportunities to collect that feedback, and they're kind of like leaving it till the end, at which point it's also like, especially if there's been a lot of work with the project, let's say you're doing, I don't know, maybe copywriting or something, there's like a lot of revisions, people are busy. Once the project is done, it's really easy for people to kind of like fall off, right? But if you're gathering the feedback on an ongoing basis, not only are you going to literally prime them into giving you feedback, and you're not going to leave everything until the end, but you're also going to be able to actually map out their journey. Like imagine you have a 6-month coaching program, and it's maybe like a one-on-one private coaching program, and every month you have a little mini form and you can track their progress. You can now tell a whole story. Like in the first month, my client started posting content and they were feeling really good about it. In month 2, they started going live. In month 3, they started selling on their stories and they started landing sales. They landed 3 clients that month and made X amount of dollars. Like I'm using my business as an example, right? You can actually tell the story, and then you can say like, within 3 months of working together, this was the result. Within 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. So you can really tell the story, right? Really powerful strategies. So implement these in your business. These are honestly like game changing. This is going to literally change the game in your business, because you are, number one, going to actually have like bomb client results to talk about in your content, which is literally one of the number one ingredients of more sales, is showing off your big client results, right? Not just the lukewarm ones, not just like the small wins, but the big win. Like we want the metrics, we want the hard metrics and the hard results and the crazy life-changing stuff that you're doing, right? The second piece though as well is it's going to make you feel so freaking confident, because a lot of the time I find people are our clients can be a little bit quiet, but when you ask them like, hey, how are things going? Like I had this with my membership when I first relaunched the membership this year. Oh gosh, I have 3 minutes. People are quiet, right? Like they're not constantly telling you about how amazing everything is, but because I'm in the DMs with a lot of my clients, like on Instagram, for example, I will check in with them, be like, hey, like, how are you finding the membership? And this one girl is literally, she's like, my mind's blown. I'm so excited. I'm binging all the trainings. My engagement's off the charts. I got a DM inquiry the other day. It's like, and I had no idea. I was like, what? I thought you maybe didn't love the membership. Because I'm not in there looking at them, like who's watching the trainings. I don't have time for that. And so a lot of the time our clients are kind of unintentionally hiding this incredible stuff that if we know about it, then we feel so much more confident. Like, imagine if your clients are just like, oh my God, like, these are all the amazing things that are happening. Like, imagine how you're going to show up in your business, how you're going to show up in your content, right? So I want you to implement all of this. And again, this is literally the golden stuff that we focus on inside Next Level Baddie, my 6-month group program that is designed to help you craft incredible offers that you love and feel good selling. Fill them with dream clients, but it doesn't end there. There's a huge part of the program where I support you through delivering your offers and serving your clients inside of them in a super automated fashion, seamless client experience, in a way that allows you to gather these results on the go and then infuse it into your marketing to bring more incredible clients in there. So this is a massive focus. I feel like this is what a lot of, honestly, people are missing, is the serving piece and the getting the results piece, and then using that to even retain clients. Because when you are serious about this, it sets a different tone for your clients, right? So if you want to chat about Next Level Baddie, send me a DM. We are enrolling right now. It's honestly the most incredible program. So send me a DM if you're interested. I am so freaking excited. And then last thing I just want to tell you is inside my monthly membership, we're going to be doing a challenge in April. It's going to be content. It's going to be how to multiply the number of conversations in your DMs with your dream clients. It's going to be how to use those conversations to create high converting content. It's going to be everything around using your content to bring in your dream clients. I think it's going to be like 2 weeks. It's going to be in April. You need to be inside the membership to be inside of that challenge. The membership is literally $97 a month, and it's got so much freaking gold in it. You get weekly content templates designed to convert, designed to bring your baddie self into your content. So again, send me a DM if you want to get into the membership for April when we have this amazing challenge. I would obviously love to have you inside, but I got to run to a most incredible call with one of my lovely clients. But it was so fun hanging with you guys. Implement info on any of one of the programs. Okay, love you guys. Wish me luck on my flight to Europe tonight. I'll see you guys soon, okay?